RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
What's happening, normal people? Yeah, my name is Tara Devlin. Thanks for hanging out. We meet here at the Tarabuster YouTube, Facebook. Oh, hi. Here comes Tara Jr. already. Here he comes, Mr. Come on. All right, he'll get up here in a minute. We meet here whenever I can have a show. So if you want to have a daily show at a set time, please become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. And that'll happen eventually, hopefully, before I step off this mortal coil. I don't know. Come on, get up here. What are you doing? Don't just stare at me. Here. I hate when he has hesitation. It's sort of like vaccine hesitation. Get up here. Get up here, kid. There's Tara Jr. Yes, he's feeling better. Hold on. Let me get rid of this so you guys can see. Whoopsie. There we go. There's Tara Jr. Everyone. He's feeling better. I took him to the vet yesterday, and thankfully he didn't have anything serious, they said. They didn't know. They took tests, but who the hell knows? Could have something he ate or something new he ate. It's not that I feed him the same stuff, but he had something wrong with his stomach. He did. He was throwing up. So, but nothing serious except that he's getting old, and he has some kidney issues, which that sucks. They said it's probably due to aging. His kidneys are getting smaller, and I don't like to hear that. So he's gonna go on a kidney diet. He doesn't have kidney disease yet, technically, but yeah. I had another cat with kidney disease. In fact, Tara Jr. had kidney disease. This is Tara Jr. So it's Tara Jr.'s Jr. Not Tara. Tara Jr.'s Jr. And he had kidney disease. He was an amazing cat. That's why I named Tara Jr. Tara Jr. And figures he gets the same thing. It's not full-blown kidney disease yet. He's not on medication. He's not to that point. They said that it's just because he's getting old. He's almost 10. Doesn't it suck? All right. I'm feeling my own age. Actually, that's probably why I'm wearing this Susie and the Banshee shirt. Because this was I guess the Susie and the Banshees were the music of my youth. If that says anything about my youth, I'm sure it does. It probably says that I had no friends. I'm just kidding. All right, guys. Let's bash the Republicans. Cons. I hate them. There's a lot to work with. It's never a loss. While we're feeling our existential crises, we have the crisis of living in the same air, breathing the same air as people who really are unfit to hold leadership positions in a modern nation. That's the truth. All right, honey, let me put you down. Look, I put a collar on him because this is Ray's collar. So Ray was wearing this collar because Ray is all black, and I put this collar on him because sometimes I was stepping on him and so I could hear him. But this is supposedly to help Tara Jr. like Ray more. I'm getting kind of sick of them. I don't know what it is. I think that Tara Jr. associates Ray with him getting sick or feeling bad, because he's not at all. It's it's gotten better, but he's constantly hissing at Ray, and it's getting a little much for me. I want peace. All right, sit down here. You sit here. All right, he's sitting right there. Look at that face. Look at him. He is. This is what I do all day. Look at him. Look. Look how good he is. Look how cute. Look at that. He looks good in his collar. Look at that. Look at you. You're a good boy, right? I love that cat. I can't help it. All right. Oh my God. I turn around and look what you guys do. Thank you for your super chat, Richard. And thank you for your super chat, Slow Tree. This is for Tara Jr. I appreciate that. I'll get him. It'll help with the prescription food. Thank you. Because he's going to be on a prescription diet now. And that ain't cheap. But he's worth it. This is what we do. What are you going to do? You can't take it with you. So I want my cat to have a nice, long, and healthy life, as we all do. All right. All right. Let's get into this. Let me see. All right. This is what I want to talk about. Republicans. They're unfit to function in a free democratic society. They don't function in a free democratic society. So I was watching C-SPAN earlier, and I knew it was going to start becoming or making news. But let's just play this. The Representative Chip Roy. I knew it. These Republicans, they're so racist that they don't even realize they're being racist. And that's a sign of a devolved mind. They have all the opportunities that we have. They live in the same society. They have the same internet. There's no excuse for them, for the way they behave and think, except that when they meet, wherever they do meet in the QAnon, in the bowels of some QAnon message board, they can validate each other's racism and hate and ignorance, as if and the other thing is just them running for office, for being a representative, and then having the temerity to sit on a hearing and assume that you know better. They're not open to learning anything. What is the point of having hearings for these representatives? You're supposed to, the reason they have hearings, we know, like if they were normal, they would be able to absorb the information and go from there. But there's the thing about conservatism is that it never evolves in spite of the information. Information aside, it's a cult. That's why it's a cult. It fits the definition of a cult. Sort of like a religion. You could bombard religion with all the factual information you have at your disposal, and it's a matter of faith. The faith doesn't need to be fact. There is no, what's faith? You got to have faith in spite of lack of facts. That's what faith is. I have faith that there's a man on a cloud. Okay. All right. Great. Good for you. But that's not fact. And it's the same thing. Well, whatever your beliefs are, it's not a fact. It's not a provable fact. Beside the point, the Republicans, when you have hearings, you bring in the experts, and it's supposed to inform the senators and the representatives, and so they can make informed decisions for the best outcome for the people they pretend to represent. But Republicans, they don't look at these hearings as an opportunity to grow or to inform themselves. They already have the preconceived notions. And those preconceived, unscientific, devolved notions are being shoved down the throats of the rest of us. Now, I'm using that term deliberately because you know how Republicans, everybody is shoving things down their throats, calling Dr. Freud. Obamacare is being shoved down their throats. The liberal whatever media shoved down their throats. Nobody shoves things down anybody's throats more than the GOP. See, that's the difference between conservatives and normal people. Because when normal people get new information, they adjust their ideologies. The same thing, and we've talked about it on the show. If suddenly someone, whatever, let's say we were living in a society that wasn't the least upwardly mobile, all of a sudden, all of the funneling, all the money and Tara Jr., you startled me. You can jump back up. So suddenly shoving all the money and power into the hands of a few, if that actually did create a society, an upwardly mobile society that worked for everyone, not just the 1%. Liberals, normal people, Democrats, progressives, we would be all for it. We'd be like, great, let's do more of that. Because that's the point. But Republicans, on the other hand, it doesn't matter how much information you give them. They're not changing. They don't change their ways, their ideology, their mind. That's why it's a cult. It's a I don't know, it's a greed-centered death cult. Yes, we talk about that, but it's also a cult of white privilege, of white male, so-called straight acting, white privilege. Because even the women, the females in this greed-centered white privilege, this male white privilege death cult, have to be they have to be misogynists as well in order to be accepted into the cult. But so today they had a hearing on the rise in anti-Asian violence, and this is not a new phenomenon, but it can be traced directly to the GOP's doorstep. They don't, just like I've been saying for years, Republicans, they're so easily played by the idiots who squat in the halls of power, who lord over these morons. They're easily played because they're racist. They're racist funny bones, get tickled, and these idiots will roll over and they will destroy the entire democracy if they could call somebody the N-word, because they don't feel like they're free unless they can say the N-word or be as racist as they are, to be openly racist. Now, they can. See, this is the difference here. The Republicans don't see, I'm being canceled, cancel culture. You could be as racist as you want to be and open up your racist trap, your Trump hole, and let your freak flag fly. But if this is a free society, you're not free from the repercussions of that. You could say whatever the hell you want, but that doesn't mean that a private corporation has to sponsor you or put you on television or make you their spokesmodel. That's what the Republicans don't seem to get. And if you're a traitor who storms the Capitol and gives a fist up to the fascists who hate democracy on the word of a tax-cheating con man, dictator-envying con man who received fewer votes, a private publishing house doesn't have to publish your book. Like Josh Hawley, he could self-publish if he wanted to. You're not being canceled, freaks. But the world is evolving. And there are plenty of us. In fact, there are more of us who are capable of evolving. We're capable of living in a free, diverse society. And frankly, we're sick of your shit. Because because we're just sick of cleaning up the bodies, the blood, the mess. It's so unnecessary. There's no reason for example, the rise in anti-Asian violence. That is all the fault of the GOP. There's absolutely no reason to label the coronavirus the China virus or the Kung flu unless you're trying. You're trying to kill people. You're trying to put a target on the backs of our fellow Americans. You're giving the idiots something to hang their racist hats on. So, but they don't care. This is part of the problem. They're unfit. That's another reason that makes them unfit. If you're somebody who doesn't give a crap that you're putting other human beings in danger, then you're unfit. You're goddamn unfit to hold a leadership position. And if you are given a leadership position, there's something seriously wrong with this society. And that's basically a symptom. You're a case in point. Hold on, the cat's back. As you can see, he's sitting here. So I have to do something with this keyboard. I got to move things around. Hold on. All right, wait. I'll put my coffee here. Put the cat there. All right, see? There's Tara Jr. Isn't he nice? He's a good boy. When he's not growling at Ray. Gets tiring after a while to hear all day. Hissing, shut up. Shut the F up. In the background, shut up. Stop picking on him. Jesus Christ. Stop picking on Ray. Poor Ray. I feel bad for Ray. He lived on the street. He's trying. He really is. He's trying. He doesn't threaten Tara Jr. In fact, if he comes around, Tara Jr. is he's absolutely the alpha. Except next to me, of course. I'm on the top. But in the cats, as far as in the cat race for alpha, he's the top. And whenever Ray sees him, Ray actually falls over and rolls on his back. Like, I don't want any trouble here. And Tara Jr. is still like, Jesus, Tara Jr., can't we all just get along? All right. Thank you for letting me share. And also, thank you for your super chats. Jim, hello. Thank you for your super chat. And Haiku, thank you and for your super chat. And also thank you for moderating the chat room. And Errol, thank you for your super chat. Hold on. Errol says, hi there. I'm on both Twitch and YouTube dissing moronic Republicons, a.k.a. Republic Clowns and Republic Turds. That's true. That's great. All right. There's a hair in my face. Let's go. All right. Where is this damn video that I'm going to play? Because I was watching this, the hearing. I caught this. What's his name? What the heck is it? Representative Roy? Don't even tell me. Ugh. Where the heck is it? I bet you I didn't fucking save it. Oh, here it is. I did save it. This is Chip Roy. His opening statement at the hearing about the rise in Asian and violence against Asian Americans, and it's so typically Republican.
Round up the bad guy.
Chance to do better.
Wait, hold on.
Now I'd like to recognize the ranking member's not here. Mr. Roy, are you taking his place? In lieu of Mr. Johnson, Mr. Chip Roy of Texas will give the statement. Minority as the ranking member. You're recognized for 5 minutes, Mr. Roy.
Well, thank you, Chairman Cohen, and I appreciate our gathering here today. This is obviously an important subject matter. And to be clear, all Americans deserve protection and to live in a free and secure society. Fundamental nature of what we expect out of government, right? Secure
Look
the
at his
blessings of liberty,
mask, too. He can't even wear a mask properly. It's hanging off half of his nostril. Well, I guess that's what it means to be a Republican. And you know, here, just an aside, how the Republicans were trying to battle this coronavirus to finally get back to normal. And the Republicans who are crying about them having to, the whole country being closed and then having to wear a mask and whatnot, they're whining about it because they want to get back to normal. But everything they're doing is preventing us from getting back to normal. You see? Again, unfit. Infantilism is in full effect here. They don't know what it means to adult. Yeah, we all want to get back to normal. So do what you're supposed to do. Wear your damn mask. When it's your turn, get the goddamn vaccine. But it's not over. It is far from over. And then there's all these variants of the coronavirus that the vaccines aren't going to do anything about. There are all different variants. And then there were two new ones here in New York. And the vaccine doesn't address those variants. So these freaking Republicans can't do their part. And it's going to be, we think we're going to get back to normal? Everything that they're doing is preventing us from getting back to normal while they're whining about having to do the things that will get us back to normal. God, it's so unbelievable. All right, let's get back to this small slice of hell. Mr. Chip Roy, in a hearing on anti-Asian American violence.
The victims of race-based violence and their families deserve justice. And as the case, what we're talking about here with the tragedy, what we just saw occur in Atlanta, Georgia. I would also suggest that the victims of cartels moving illegal aliens deserve justice. The American citizens in South Texas that are getting absolutely decimated by what's happening at our southern border deserve justice. The victims
Can you fuckers ever stay on topic? Can you ever remain on point? Or is it everything an opportunity to push your bullshit agenda? Jesus Christ.
rioting and looting in the streets last week, businesses closed, burned last summer, deserve justice.
Shut your filthy mouth and put your mask on straight. You know, we deserve an adult who wears his mask like an adult, not like a child. You know, you look like a little boy with his pants half down. Like, because he's a toddler. He doesn't know how to buckle his pants. That's what you look like with your stupid mask hanging off your nose. We deserve... We're in a hearing about anti-Asian American violence, you scum. It's not another opportunity to make up friggin' lies about Antifa. Or try to make the American people, you're morons, the idiots who vote for you, another opportunity to denigrate Black Lives Matter. Try to make everybody think that Black Lives Matter is rioting in the streets, that it's not a movement to address real racism, real problems. Systematic murder of our fellow Americans. The extrajudicial murder of when cops, they don't do their job and bring people to jail so they can get their day in court. That's what the cop's supposed to do, not murder people in the streets. There's nothing less free than citizens of a society where the law enforcement doesn't enforce the law, doles out justice. That's not free, you see. You're not free then. One of the hallmarks of a free society is having your day in court. That's part of the founders knew this. What, habeas corpus, why you had a right to a speedy trial. So, because in the past, you know, the autocrat could take your ass and put you in jail indefinitely without charging you. But another thing was just, who needs court? When you have your extrajudicial hit squads. This is what these cons don't seem to get. They want to talk about justice. Justice is going to court, getting your day in court. If you're guilty, then you have the right to be heard and defend yourself. If you're being charged with something. But Republicans think they're not free. Unless what? They can call somebody the N-word or say China virus or talk about pee-pees, who's in the bathroom, who's what? What pronoun? Oh, the poor dears might have to change their pronouns. Somebody asks, I would like to be called by this pronoun, by this name and this pronoun. Oh, that's too much for these freaks. That's too much to ask. Oh, they're so put upon, you see? But heaven forbid anybody say anything bad about them. Trumpanzee. Oh, we're being put upon. We're being picked on. Jesus Christ! Here, let's listen.
Rioting and looting in the streets last week, businesses closed, burned. Last summer, deserve justice. We believe in justice. Right? There's old sayings in Texas about find all the rope in Texas and get a tall oak tree.
Oh, I see. It's a lynching joke because that's supposed to be justice, right? Oh, there's an old saying in Texas, find all the rope in Texas and get me a tree. Well, you see, you freak, who has no business sitting on any panel anywhere. The only thing you should be doing is sitting in your home Googling, how do I get out of this QAnon cult? But you see, you freak, there's an old saying in justice, bring a rope and get me a tree. That's not justice, you scumbag. That's tyranny. Yeah, we have a history of that in this country, but that ain't justice. And guess what? Why am I not surprised? It's another white, privileged, whiny little bastard who I'm sure, as soon as this son of a bitch said that, I knew that it was going to go viral. Because they don't even realize. They're so racist. They don't realize how racist they are. They can't help it. You see. They really can't. But that's why, this is why they're immature. They can't function. They're not fit to hold a leadership position in a modern nation, especially one with diverse people, with all kinds of people. What's the matter, honey? You scratching your... Come on. He doesn't like when I'm yelling. I realize that. Me neither. Let me help you there. He's got allergies. All right, hold on. Oh, he's coming back now? What are you doing? Make up your mind. Come on. We got a show. There's a show happening right now. You're live on the internet. Yeah, it's the internet. It's this thing. It's a series of tubes. You've never heard of it? Get up here and I'll show you. Get up here. Look at my house. It's dirty. Not dirty. It has messy. I was doing my taxes. There's paper on the table. Because I was doing my taxes. All right, come on. Get up. Like an American. I wasn't doing them. I was getting all my paperwork. Because of the taxes. All right. See? There's Jared Jr. All right, where the hell was I? Sorry. This is what happens. This is my emotional support animal. I need some emotional support. Here we go. Here, let's get back to Chip Roy.
In Texas about, find all the rope in Texas and get a tall oak tree. We
Holy
take
God.
justice very seriously, and we ought to do that. Round up the bad guys. That's what we believe.
We take justice seriously. Get a rope and a tree. Because that's taking justice seriously. No, honey, that's vigilanteism. It's not justice. It's injustice. It's the opposite of justice. You freak. That's not justice. It's the opposite. It's the exact opposite of justice. That's tyranny. Get a rope? And how many Americans have been targeted by that kind of so-called justice? It's not justice. How delusional is this white cracker privilege non-mask, stupid mask wearing, stupid looking mask, idiot. It's unreal. I cannot believe it. How old is this guy? 50 or something? And he hasn't learned by now that lynching is injustice. Now that goes to show you where he lives, not literally, but in his mind. He's never had the reason or the opportunity or even the interest in being a better person or changing or learning. Somebody who has absolutely no interest in sharing a civilization with people who have different pigment colors, speaks like that. That's how they talk. Like not Rob Roy, Chip Roy. To think that that's an appropriate analogy is fascinating. There's no reason to bring something like that and say that in a hearing about violence against a targeted minority group. Is that wishful thinking, Chip Roy? What is that? Or is that, a Freudian slip, if I ever heard one? Are you in that much of an impenetrable bubble? It's unreal. I can't even, it's hard to believe that a grown representative of the people in the year 2020 freaking one is gonna extol lynching as some kind of example how much he and the people of Texas like justice. They like justice so much. What's justice then, if that's the analogy he picks? Whose justice is he talking about? What is his definition of justice? Is it for maybe looking at a white woman? That's justice. Then you get hanged by a tall tree with the rope. What is it? Not knowing your place? Justice? Is that justice? When people aren't deferential enough to your God-given birthright of being a white man? The best thing that these right-wingers did, that's what they feel. This is why racism is so goddamn stupid, and they want to hold on to it for dear life. Because what else do they got? What more do they have? That's why, they go after Obama, right? All the time. They still denigrate President Obama constantly because President Obama, in this racist-ass country, in spite of the racists like the Chip Roys of the world, was able to get himself elected in a national election twice. 2 landslide elections in spite of the racism in this country. And that goes to show you what an exceptional human being he is. Whereas, who is Chip Roy? What does he bring to the table? Could he get elected in a national election? No, he could barely get elected in his own district without the help of Republicon dirty tricks. Gerrymandering, voter suppression. Oh, yeah. Oh, there are some red districts, we know that. But this country is not a center-right nation in any sense of the word. It's never been. Oh, it's a racist nation. Oh, that's for sure. Oh, yeah. But we're evolving, and that's what the Republicans can't handle it. They know they're a dying breed, literally and figuratively. But there'll be no what? Who's going to hold it against them? Lynching? Yeah, that's what they think, though. This is what they think. And they're probably shocked. I don't know. Maybe they're not, though. That's why they double down. Like Ron Johnson. He's saying, if it was Black Lives Matter storming the Capitol. First of all, he said, when Ron Johnson said, that he was afraid. He wasn't afraid when the white privilege freaks attacked the Capitol because they were, well, he said they were patriots who love America. You see? Black means you don't love America. Well, this is what they think. Patriot. Well, and as we know, the exact opposite is actually true. Mr. Roy, Chip Roy, hates America. The Capitol rioters, they hate America because they hate their fellow Americans. They're out there stirring up violence against their fellow Americans and democracy itself. So when, what's his name? Ron Johnson, that's what he was saying. Oh, if it were, he said the quiet part out loud. I know I'm going to get in trouble here. You're going to get in trouble because you're a racist. So don't say it. Why don't you look at yourself in the mirror and say, why am I afraid of other humans with darker pigment? What's wrong with me? That's stupid. But of course not. He wouldn't do that. Much more, it's easier to continue the echo chamber of racism. Well, eventually what's happening, and it's happening before the Republicans' eyes, the demographics, time is not on their side. I only wish I would be around to see it, really. I really wish I was, but maybe not in my lifetime. But will the Republicans fizzle out for good? But there's always going to be people like them, you know, all over the world. There are people like them. We don't have the corner market on morons. We just have a hell of a lot of morons in the positions of authority. Because we're living in a broken system. So the brokenness of the media is really what makes it, makes it worse. You know, corporate media not doing its job to inform people, and the echo chamber. Where the heck? All right, here. Let's go.
Concern about this hearing is that it seems to want to venture into the policing of rhetoric in a free society, free speech.
Free speech. You got free speech. You have free speech, freak. But there are consequences to speech. Okay? Policing of rhetoric, because he doesn't want to be told not to say China virus or Kung flu. That's a real yuck funny thing to say. It's so funny. It's especially funny when there are Asian Americans getting murdered and beaten. Listening, the last sound they'll hear are a bunch of white privileged assholes saying Kung flu. But nobody's stopping him. Here, that's the thing that these freaks don't seem to understand. You could say that. You can. But there are consequences. You know, party of personal responsibility and all. Take some responsibility. But they don't want to take responsibility. They want to whine about things that don't matter because they don't really give a shit. You see? Ultimately, getting people prematurely dead, that's incidental. That's, oh well. You got to break some eggs to make an omelet. They don't really care. Ultimately, what they're doing is deliberately tickling the racist funny bones of their racist ass base and ensuring that they're going to get their racist ass base to march to the polls and keep them in power while they remain in power to funnel more money into the hands of the oligarchy that they truly serve. So out here on the front lines, when we're out here living in the consequences, we feel the sting of the lash of the consequences of the Republican policies. We have to live out here. But that's why this idiot, like, he's not there to learn anything, to hear new information, to hear perspectives from others, from the experience of others. He's there to spread more Republican bullshit.
The rule of law and taking out bad guys. And as a former federal prosecutor, I'm kind of predisposed and wired
Put
to
your
want to go
mask
take out bad guys.
on, you fucking child. Oh my God, it's so annoying. Put your mask on. It's like pull up your diaper. You're stupid. Goddamn dumbass. Look at him. This is an adult who is friggin' representing people in government. This is an adult. Put your stupid, filthy mask on. I know it's filthy because it's around your face. And you're disgusting. Look at that. Come on. You know it's slipping down around your chin. You stupid goon. Oh my God. Victims of rioting and looting in the street deserve justice. Who the fuck said they didn't? If victims of rioting, now they turn incidences of right, and you know how they love false flag. They love talking about everything is a false flag except for the false frickin' flags, like that they enact or inflict on society. 99.9% of the Black Lives Matter movement was peaceful. And then you get a couple of right-wing scums pretending. And they arrested people. For example, the umbrella guy who broke the windows. It was a right-winger. And then one of the right-wingers shot into a police station yelling justice for George Floyd. It was a Boogaloo boy. This is what they do because they're so obsessed with conspiracies and conspiracy theories. They're the ones doing it. You know, we're too busy out here trying to make the world safe for democracy. We're actually playing the game of democracy. Knocking on doors, you doing a phone bank. It's the ones who hate democracy. They're the ones out there with the extrajudicial bullshit. They're the ones effing things up. They're not playing the game of democracy. They're playing the game of fascism, of hierarchy, and everybody in their place. Oh, they'll like democracy just fine when the straight-acting white males are entrenched permanently in the halls of power, period, end of sentence. That's all you need. Everybody else in their place. You see, as we become closer to having a more perfect union, the more people we include in the franchise of democracy, that's when Republicans lose their shit and they go out authoritarian. Because in every Republican chest beats the heart of fascism. I mean, prove me wrong. They don't like democracy. So we're out here protesting and keeping it in the lane of democracy. Not them. Kyle Rittenhouse, they lionized him. You know, I'll see your so-called riots, BLM riots. You notice that? That's how they must, because it is the authoritarian agenda must ensure that we never have a society that is that has a chance to heal its racist wounds. So instead of embracing the whole Black Lives Matter, meaning all lives matter. That's what it means. We're in this together. The Republicans, it's not that they don't have an interest in healing our racist history and wounds. They have an existential crisis about it. They can't allow it to happen. So they must demonize Black Lives Matter. They have to. And pretend that this Antifa shit. Antifa. That doesn't exist. That's how you know they're an authoritarian death cult. Just replace it with Eternal Jew. And you can recognize the tactic.
And that's bad guys of all colors. That's bad guys of all persuasions. That's bad guys targeting.
What are you so triggered about, Roy? Why are you so sensitive? Got to make sure, it's bad guys of all colors? Oh, both sides, right? Both sides. Bullshit. Bad guys of all colors? Sort of like how the Republican Party's a big tent of all colors, right? Yeah, you got a couple of all colors. You put them right in the front. God. And what is he doing with his opening statement? There's nothing in this opening statement that is connected to the hearing, to the issue at hand, except the only thing that is, we could say it's connected to is that it's doing all the work it can, this opening statement, to ensure that the beatings continue, that the death continues, that the attacks continue. He's basically singing the song of the morons out there attacking and targeting Asians because their dim Führer told them to, and not so many words. God.
People for all different.
I'm already out of coffee, and it's like we're not even an hour into the show.
Reasons. And I think
Wait, hold on a second.
Guys of all persuasions.
All persuasion. We got to make sure.
Guys targeting
not
people,
just whites.
For all different reasons.
Yeah, all different reasons here. Not just because the dumb Führer said Kung Flu and China virus 10,000 times, and that we get instance after instance and case after case of attacks on Asian Americans where the perpetrator is yelling Kung Flu and China virus and it's your fault. But put your mask on. Look at him. Look at this freak. Put your stinking mask over your nose, you stupid white cretin. You're making white people embarrassed to be white. You are a disgrace. Oh my God. Are you 2 years old? Yes, you are. Emotionally, spiritually, intellectually. Of course you are. Excuse me. It's like they have, that's their disability. Being a complete ass. Everything about them has to suck. Really? Can't they give it a rest? Sometimes just give your stupidity a rest for a minute. Try not to suck all the time, constantly, in everything you do. You suck at life. You suck at being a human. You suck at having human DNA? Really? You suck at your job? You suck at the basic requirements for being a human? And you suck at wearing a mask in a pandemic. You suck. You suck. Your mouth is filled with lies that suck. How do you keep walking upright? I don't understand. The devolving right before my very eyes. And without even a sense of self, whatever, what is that, self-assessment? Nothing. Just sitting there with a stupid mask falling off of his face as if he's so distracted by the amazing words coming out of his mouth that he didn't realize it was falling down to his chin, hanging off lopsided like a 2-year-old trying to pull up his pants over his diapers, while he's just letting all the bullshit out. Filtering the air with shit. With the stench of lies.
And I think we need to be mindful of that. And so now we're talking
mindful. Oh, thank you.
whether
Tell
talking
us to
about
be
China-
mindful. Who are you, Eckhart Tolle? Huh? What are you, Deepak Chopra now? We're going to be mindful? Why don't you be mindful of that effing mask on your face? That when you have it around your nose, it's kind of defeating the purpose, you freak. Put it on your face, because your stupid, ugly COVID breath is coming out of your nose, too.
Chi-Coms, the Chinese Communist Party, whatever phrasing we want to use. And if some people are saying, hey, we think those guys are the bad guys, for whatever reason. And let me just state clearly, I do. I think the Chinese Communist Party running the country of China, I think they're the bad guys.
Yeah, bitch. First of all, put your fucking... No, okay. Calm down. Excuse my language. I gotta calm down. I swear my heart is racing. Excuse me, Mr. Roy. Put your fucking... excuse me. Put your mask on your face. Okay, great. Thank you. Second, you could call the Chinese Communist Party bad. You could say they're bad actors, bad people, bad government, bad. But you could say that without being a racist prick. You know? Those are two separate issues. You could call the Chinese Communist Party bad. They're not democracies. They're not like us. They're not good to their people. But you can also do that without being racist. Saying racist, using racist tropes, using deliberate racist language after being continuously corrected and informed about it, about the harm it does to the Asian Americans living in this country who are our goddamn brothers and sisters and everything else in between. So shut your hole, your Trump hole, and put your mask on your face. I mean, come on. So what he's saying is that he's not able, it's all about, you see, it's not about the murder and the dangers and the harm that is happening, the documented harm, racist based harm against our fellow Americans. It's not about that. It's that he's not free unless he can wait, what the hell is that? Oh, I thought one of the cats was fighting. He's not free unless he can say China virus or Kung flu. That, yet again, I'm sorry. He's proving me correct. I've been saying this for years. People have been saying, oh yeah, they say, come on. Republicans do not think they're free unless they could say the N-word. And in this situation, unless they can target any minority group, just pick one. That's why they'll never change. We must change. We must continue to change. And one of the ways, they'll never change. They're a lost cause, like this stupid lost cause that they died for, that their ancestors died for. The right, quote unquote, for the rich to own other human beings. Now we're owned in different ways here, and Republicans want to make sure it stays that way. They want indentured servants. They want, if they could throw your ass in jail, bring back debtors' prisons. I mean, this is happening. That's happening, actually. There are other forms of debtors' prisons happening. Even in the COVID checks that are going out, Republicans are making it easy. Well, they're one of the... Hold on. The music's distracting me. My own music is distracting me. And it's only for me to remember how long I'm talking. That's all. Oh, God. In the COVID rescue package, they're blocking... See, the Democrats are... because Republicans they let you starve in the streets, of course. But, oh, shit. I just realized something. I'm sorry. I did not start my ROKFIN feed. Holy moly. It doesn't matter. It is what it is. But they're in the COVID rescue, they are ensuring that, the Democrats were trying to block, what do you call it, debt collectors from going after the COVID relief money that you might be getting. And Republicans put a kibosh on that. So some people might be really suffering under a mountain of debt for whatever reasons during this coronavirus, which we're in the now near third Republican Great Depression in 100 years. And a lot of people are hanging by a thread. So the Republicans are, did they block it? I'm going to see if they're successful. Hold on. COVID rescue debt collectors. Let's see. Yes. Let's see. I think they were successful in ensuring that the debt collectors could seize your stimulus check. Yeah. Yep, they were. Here's a warning for you. This is from a local news, WFLA. If you're set to receive $1,400 stimulus payment, debt collectors will be able to come after you if you have unpaid debt. Yeah. That was the Republicans. See? I mean, what does that do to stimulate the economy? Nothing. It funnels money into the arms of people who have too much goddamn money. Oh, yeah, they damn do. Jeff Bezos has too much money. What's the meaning of life? Is it so Jeff Bezos can step on us on his way to Mars? What's the meaning of an economy? What's the meaning of a government? We need to realize that, it's not that we do realize this, but Republicans, I wish they would realize it. Either that or go away. Go to a desert island. Leave us alone. You don't want to be a member of the community, the interconnected community that is the human race, and you don't want to be part of our little community, America. You don't give a crap about anybody else but yourself, then leave. Go away. Go. Be an individual. Go to a desert island. Leave us alone. Nobody says you gotta endure us. Holding you down by your bootstraps. Think of all the freedom. You could build your own internet. You could build your own generator. You could dig your own wells. Your own anything. Do it all yourself. Why are you sucking on the government cheat and the rest of us? If it's such a burden. Oh my God. I am looking on Huffington Post right now. And there's a little, I'm going to show you. Concerning this, what we're talking about. You see this? Look at this picture. GOP rep Chip Roy rants about China and Asian American violence hearing. This is what we're talking about. But look at the friggin' picture. Of course, Chip Roy. His whole fucking mouth. Put your filthy face in your mask. Holy Christ. It's insane. All right, let's get back to Chip Roy.
And I think that they are harming people, and I think they are engaging in modern day slavery, and I think that what they're doing to Uyghurs, and I think that what they're doing targeting our country, and I think that what they're doing to undermine our national
against
security,
Asian
and what they're doing to
Americans
steal our
in this
intellectual property,
country,
and what they're doing to build up their military and rattle
holy shit
throughout the Pacific, I think it's patently evil and deserving of condemnation. And I think that what they did to hide
and put
the
your mask
reality
on.
of
No,
this
you
virus
almost did it.
is equally deserving of condemnation.
It's
there's hardly any
equally
getting around.
deserving of condemnation. Well, why don't we have a hearing about that? This hearing is about violence against Asian Americans in this country. So we can have a hearing. We can have a hearing on the Uyghurs, and we can have a hearing on the Chinese Communist Party. But that's not this hearing, you scumbag. But, see, the violence against Asian Americans in this country, talking about that they don't have an interest in that. They don't want to, and really, they don't have an interest in taking responsibility for that. That's what they've done. They built that, just like they build everything else that sucks in this country. Yeah, they do. Everything that they build sucks. It all does. It's true. Prove me wrong. Somebody give me something that the Republicans built that, or initiative, it's anything, a piece of legislation, anything. Everything that they've touched sucks. Look what they did. Obamacare. That sucks because it's the GOP health care plan. Oh, and I remember one time saying that, and someone on, I don't know, Twitter or something, this was a while ago, was like, started attacking me. Oh, sure, Obamacare sucks because it's the GOP health care plan. The name is Obamacare. You see how infantile they are? The name, it's called Obamacare. I see. Sort of like if somebody puts dog turd in an ice cream cone and calls it chocolate, you'd take a nice big lick of it, I suppose, right? But that's who they are. It is the GOP healthcare plan. It's Romney care. Oh, and remember when Romney was like, it's not the same as my health care plan that we enacted here in Massachusetts, because my health care plan, see, they have to come up with some kind of angle, and they went with my Romney care was only a local thing. It wouldn't work nationally, right? It doesn't work nationally. It doesn't, in fact, you know why? It doesn't work because the for-profit healthcare racket. Anyway, but that's the Republican healthcare plan that keeps the for-profit healthcare racket, which is a racket. It's a disgusting racket at that. Sort of like, the mob. The history of the mob, where, not that I know it so well, but there was a time in organized crime, in the Italian organized crime in New York City and other places, where they wouldn't touch drugs. They wouldn't peddle drugs, or they had their reasons, but one of it was it brought a lot of heat on them, but it wasn't they in short, they had more integrity, I suppose, than the GOP, because they figured it doesn't. It's anyway, whatever. I'm trying to make doesn't make sense. I know. Let's see. It'll make sense later. It'll make sense to future generations. What was I trying to make a point out of that? The mob and the GOP. The mob had integrity. They wouldn't push drugs, whereas the Republicans push, well, I guess it's a loose analogy. They push this shitty healthcare plan that sucks. That kills people. That continues to kill 35,000 Americans every year. Okay, maybe that's all right. We'll get back to it. Let's get back to Rob Roy.
That in fact happened.
Chip.
Right? We've got, the World Health Organization.
Chip Roy. What a stupid name, too. Rob Roy, Chip Roy. Doesn't matter. He'd be better off if he was Rob Roy. Who wants to be called Chip Roy? Chip Roy? Jesus Christ. Would your mother lose a bet, Chip? Jesus. And your mask is slipping down over your face again. You think maybe one of these other people who you work with would turn around and go like, your mask is falling. Mr. Roy.
Evil and deserving of condemnation. And I think that what they did to hide the reality of this virus is equally deserving of condemnation.
What does that have to do with Asian Americans being targeted? Anybody? What does it have to do? Oh, that means you were in your right mind, or you were in you are justified in sowing racist discord in this country, because that's what they're doing, and they're as that's why they're terrorists. They can't. Any other terrorist, ISIS, Putin, he couldn't do it without the Republicans. He couldn't destroy Western democracy without their help. So, that's his point? The Chinese lied about the virus? So did you. If you want to get technical, so did the Republicans. So did the goddamn standard bearer of the Republican Party. He lied. He said it was going to disappear like magic, like a dream. One day we're going to wake up. And then he said, remember how Easter Sunday is going to be a very great day. I like, we're going to open it up. Easter Sunday. I just like that day. I'm sure he's pissed off that Joe Biden, well, they are pissed off that Joe Biden said that we could have barbecues on July 4th if all goes well. Well, don't send out those invites yet. And the Republicans all lost their mind. How dare he tell us to have a barbecue? They actually said that that was Tucker Carlson saying. How dare he tell, this is a free country. You're not going to tell me I'm going to have a barbecue. But you know that Twitler it was all because the Republicans are jealous. That's a nice day. It's going to look good for Joe Biden if it works. But we might even say if we were conspiracy-minded as the QAnon GOP death cult, greed-centered death cult, that we would say that they were doing it deliberately, that they weren't wearing their masks or getting the vaccine deliberately, so Joe Biden couldn't have his big day on Independence Day, July 4th. God help us.
And there's hardly any getting around that in fact happened. Right? We've got, the World Health Organization on Twitter.
Does that
saying preliminary investigations conducted by the Chinese authorities found no clear evidence of human-to-human transmission of the novel coronavirus. WHO had to go back and read.
Does it? Do these people understand how useless they are? I wonder. Like when he's printing out that piece of paper that he's waving around. Is he saying, oh, this is really going to show them that what? Just stop. Stop. Chip Roy, I wish somebody would stand up in that hearing and say, stop. Just stop with the show here. Stop with the tap dancing antics. Take a breath, surrender. You know what's it's like in addiction. Surrender to win. And it's a relief to finally say, I need help. What about Rob Roy? I keep saying Rob Roy. Chip Roy. Won't you think? Just somebody stand up and say, shh, 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 shh. Chip, stop. Stop with the bullshit. Stop this tap dance. Relax. Own it. Just accept it. You and the Republicans, you built this. You and your racist rhetoric unleashed this torrent of anti-Asian violence in this country. Accept it. Take responsibility for it. That's what the country needs. You want to be a patriot? You want to pretend you're a patriot? You don't have to pretend. You could be one by accepting your part in this, owning it. There will be a sense of liberation, a feeling of liberation when you finally accept your part. Say, and then you could let go of the lies. This mountain of lies you're carrying. You know how liberating that will be? Just shake that off your back and say, I am sorry that I participated in this active campaign against our fellow Americans. I can't believe I was so blinded by ambition, by the need to be voted into whatever this bullshit, phony, baloney job I'm doing up here. running with an R after my name, I had to become a lickspittle of a con man. And the con man is a racist, and like the rest of those with R's after their names in this phony baloney job we're doing in the phony baloney caucus. It's exhausting pretending to be a representative of the people and, having to continuously spread these lies in the face of all of the repercussions of the lies. Just stop. Chip, just stop. Put your freaking mask on your face and stop. Stop acting like, I don't know, just be somebody who gives a shit. Stop pretending that the freaking railing against the Chinese Communist Party has anything to do with what we're talking about. That in some way is absolves you of all your responsibility, of all the racist lies you've peddled. Don't you think these Republicans, they must, I guess it's either their denial is so powerful. Well, it must be a bunch. That and their cowardice, their inherent cowardice. And it is. They've done studies. The large amygdalas in conservative brains. Not that. And I know that's, one time I was talking about that brain study about conservatives have larger amygdalas, and a friend of mine was like, "Oh, I don't want to hear this. It sounds like that the Nazis measuring people's heads and it wasn't that the study wasn't what the study did was they identified people's political persuasion by the size of their amygdalas. So it wasn't like the ideology, I don't know. It makes sense, frankly. When you have a larger amygdala, your fear center, that's your fear center in your brain. It's a part of your primitive brain. And if your primitive brain is telling you to be afraid, and it's screaming loudly, and it's, what's funny too, actually, now that I'm saying this, it's our amygdalas, that's why they are devolved. Hold on. Oh, damn it. I can't believe almost 2 hours has gone by already. Can you believe this? You really getting a lot for your money's worth, patrons. I'm just saying, if you want to be a patron, patreon.com/Tara. All right. Hold on. I have this as a backup. All right. I'm sick of this song already. I'm lowering it. And JD, thank you for your super chat. I gotta get a super chat. Something. What was I saying? Oh, yes. The amygdalas. The large amygdalas. Let me look this up. And what I was going to say is that when we talk about devolved, I'm not kidding. So the large amygdala is sort of like a throwback to our devolved selves. I guess they could maybe one day will evolve and the amygdala won't be as prevalent. But the thing is, we needed, at one time, that's the thing about conservatism. All of the things, and it is also why I call them infants, because they haven't evolved. And it's almost like humanity, as we evolve, some of the things that got us to the point where we could evolve, we don't need those things anymore. So humanity needed, at one time, in order to survive, needed that large amygdala. So we could say, hey, what's that? What's that over there? Run. But now, when we live in a small world with diverse people, we don't need that as much. Yes, of course, everything is not wonderful. We have fear for a reason. Oh, boy. Yes, but here's from Psychology Today, and the question is, are people born conservative? This was from 2011. Nigel Barber, PhD. We'll get back to this video in a second. And he writes, peering into the brain with MRI scans, researchers at University College London found that self-described conservative students had larger amygdala than liberals. The amygdala is an almond-shaped structure deep in the brain that is active during states of fear and anxiety. Liberals had more gray matter, at least in the anterior cingulate cortex, a region of the brain that helps people cope with complexity. Doesn't that make sense? The results are not that surprising, as they fit in with conclusions from other studies. Just a year ago, researchers from Harvard and UCLA San Diego reported finding a liberal gene, quote unquote, liberal gene. This gene had a tiny effect, however, and worked only for adolescents having many friends. The results also mesh with psychological studies on conflict monitoring. So there is a big unknown underlying these findings. Supposing that the size of one's amygdala really does increase the likelihood of being a conservative, is the size of the amygdala determined at birth, or does it perhaps increase with frightening childhood experiences such as authoritarian parenting and corporal punishment? Similarly, one might ask whether the gray matter difference is affected by exposure to educational challenge, social diversity, or childhood cognitive enrichment. You see? Is it nature or nurture? Or both? The born versus acquired perspective on political attitudes is important to psychologists. After all, if political proclivities are fixed at birth in terms of brain anatomy, there is little hope of change. Most of us would probably like to see a world in which political attitudes were less polarized and more changeable. Meanwhile, the neuroscientific fact of two very different political creatures helps clarify much of the political antics in modern democracies. Given that their brains are so different, it's hardly surprising that liberals and conservatives should spend so much time talking across each other and never achieve real dialogue. Shut up. How's that for dialogue? There's my dialogue with conservatives. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. You can't dialogue. Here's my dialogue. Shut the fuck up. Beep up. Beep up. Where can we find common ground? Where am I going to find a common ground with Chip Roy? Or Marjorie Taylor Greene? Let's find common ground with her. With that moron? All right, let's play more of beep bump beep bump.
All of that, we know full well. I've got a
His mask
bill
is
that I
going
introduced to
rogue
posthumously
again.
award a congressional gold medal to Dr. Li Wenliang for coming out and exposing what the Chinese Communist government
Holy
had done
shit! Shut
to
the.
hide the virus.
You see what I'm saying?
Dr. Wenliang was a 34-year-old ophthalmologist in Wuhan, China, who died from the 2019 coronavirus after he
Oh,
saw.
you almost. You see, he's so used to saying China virus that he had to stop and say, coronavirus. I betcha. Look.
To hide the virus. Dr. Wenliang was a 34-year-old ophthalmologist in Wuhan, China, who died from the 2019 coronavirus after he sought to draw attention to the spread of the virus. Research indicates the first patient infected exhibited symptoms in early December 2019. On January 3rd, after raising concerns about the spread, Dr. Wenliang and 7 other doctors were detained and questioned by Chinese officials. He was forced to sign a statement retracting his warnings and confessing he had spread illegal rumors.
Wow, that's fascinating. But what the fuck does it have to do with what we're talking about? You're one of those, I guess. You know, ever one-track mind, right? Don't ever let reality, fact, or anything get in the way of your agenda, right? So, we're talking about anti-Asian violence, and I'm talking about Asians. So it's related, right? Chinese Communist Party, Asians, Americans getting murdered by racists. Yeah, that seems to be that's the same thing, right?
That's the reality. And he ended up dying, but he was beaten. They were targeted for engaging in free speech.
Holy shit. Put your mask on. I see. Targeted for free. We're loosely connected to how you started your bullshit rant. Wasting our time again. You see, instead of having someone who could bring something to the table, we had to sit here and listen to Chip Roy in our hearing about violence against Asian Americans. So this guy was beaten and for speaking the truth, for free speech. You see, just like I was saying about free speech, you're saying we can't say China virus anymore. That's free speech. That's my free speech. Freedom. In the words of in the immortal words of William Wallace in a movie, in an unhistorical, inaccurate movie starring Mel Gibson, freedom, about someone who never heard of a place called America. Could you imagine living in such a hellhole that didn't even know about America, the greatest country that could ever be mustered out of the minds of white men? White men who can't wear a mask. They don't know how to wear a mask. They're just too busy being great. What does this have to do with what the hell we're talking about? Excuse me, whatever I'm saying. About, see, this is how they have me. About, who, what, Holy shit.
We're trying to bring to light what was happening. And that's the reality of
It's not
what
working. When you pretend to put your mask on your face and it goes right back to the position on your chin, we're not buying it, Chip. You know? If you're taking the minute or the second to put your friggin' mask on your nose, you would think you want to put it on your nose or over your nose. He's got to put on a show, you see, of trying to put it back. He can't put it back. It's too much. How's a white man supposed to get anything done? That's great. With this mask, how can a white man be expected to make a country great? Please. If I can't put this mask on my nose. It keeps falling down. I'm trying, you see, I'm trying to put it up. I do it every now and then, but I'm so fevered about this Chinese Communist Party, you see. And freedom of speech and the freedom to say China virus, no matter who it kills. Because that's freedom. That's why William Wallace declared his independence from the crown in 1776, if I'm not mistaken. How William Wallace came over to George Washington's house and said, yeah, you know what, George? We can make America great again if all these China viruses would get out of the way. Why don't we just put them to work on the railroad, and then we can write a law calling the Chinese Exclusion Act and get them back in their place? That's what William Wallace said to George Washington. I saw it in a movie. I don't know why. They were wearing skirts. It looked very gay, but I happen to like that. Excuse me, I'm a man. Sorry. I mean, I don't like it. I mean, I hate it, I say. I hate it like I hate this China virus. And I hate having to wear masks, as you can tell by my inability to do so. Oh, my God.
Referred to as the Chi-Coms. And I'm not going to be ashamed of saying I oppose the Chi-Coms. I oppose
because
the Chinese
that's what
Communist
this
Party.
is about.
And when we say things like that, and we're talking about that, we shouldn't be worried about having a committee of members of Congress policing our rhetoric.
Oh, you want to... What? So you want to say you're not for the Chinese Communist Party, and you want to say racist, derogatory terms about Asians. Oh, I see. You can't criticize the Chinese Communist Party without saying China virus and Kung Wu, whatever, the Kung flu. Right. I see. That's too hard for you. That's too hard for America's master race, you see. It's hard. It's hard. Like wearing a mask is hard. I don't know. I do it all the time myself, but it's hard for a white man. It's a white man's burden. Wearing a mask. How can you be expected to wear a mask, not say China virus, and go up against the biggest threat that ever existed in this country? And I would say it's probably the Chinese Communist Party and their agents in Antifa here at home. Antifa, BLM, we want justice. We love justice in Texas. We just don't love wearing masks. We love Texas and justice so much, we say, give me a rope and a tree. Justice. Oh, that's so funny. Isn't that funny? That's just... What's the matter? Too soon? There they go again, those liberals. Saying things like, stop being racist. Stop being a stupid.
Because some evildoers go engage in some evil activity
What the fuck?
as occurred in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh,
Because when we start
wow. We
policing
went all over the world there to get back to the point. Chinese Communist Party and Antifa, BLM, Chi-Com. What the hell you talking about? And some loose connection to whatever happened in Atlanta, Georgia, which is the point of why we are getting together today.
We're doing the very thing that we're condemning when we condemn what the Chinese Communist Party does to their country. And that's exactly where this wants to go. This is the road this wants to head down.
Oh my God. Thank you for pointing it out. Wow. We almost lost our freedom there. Wow. Thank you. That was a slippery slope. I see. So if we're not racist, we might die. Oh my God. If we're not racist, we might end up, the whole America is gonna die. What? Who knew? I mean, the unforeseen consequences of being woke. Wow. I see. It's sort of like if we wear a mask, we might die. Is that it? I lost it again. I had it for a second. But then it was sort of like that. I have to write it down. You know, when you have a dream, you want to write it down quick before it escapes. Sort of, that's Republican logic. I see. Freedom of speech means, oh, okay, I get it. It's racism. Again, you're not free if somebody makes you aware that you're a racist whose toxic rhetoric is killing people. Okay. I see. And that's the slippery slope. Not the murdered fellow Americans. Oh, wow. I get it now. We're actually gonna hurt everything. Wow. By being conscientious and inclusive. Oh my God. Thank goodness. These patriots who can't wear a mask got elected despite receiving fewer votes. My God.
And nothing could be more dangerous than going down that road, because who decides what is hate?
There he goes again. Putting on a show. You see, they work so hard. Even just put the fucking mask on. Put it on and shut your tainted Trump hole, okay? Shut your filthy, disgusting lie hole. But it takes less energy to put on your mask and wear it correctly. Just put it on correctly than it does to constantly push it up off of your chin with your stupid nose sticking out, sucking up all the goddamn air.
Who decides what is the kind of speech that deserves policing?
Yeah. See how animated he is?
A panel?
He probably thinks, yes, like Reverend Warnock's speech yesterday. And it was incredibly powerful and poignant and prescient, and also pulled out really pulled out the stops, pointing fingers at the Republicans, their voter suppression efforts. But he probably thinks he's in that league somehow. It's like, yeah, come on, guys. You see? Look at me. My mask is falling off. I'm so concerned about freedom. It's a slippery slope. Everything's a slippery slope with them, too. Don't you know? Can't be decent because you're on the slippery slope to what? Can't have health care for all because you're on the slippery slope. I remember during the Obamacare debate. Health care, we all want health care as a right of citizenship. And the Republicans were like, Hitler! That's how it started. Even though Germans had universal health care in like the 1800s. So, but it was, yes, I see. Oh my God. Once you have health care for all, like every other country, then you're a Nazi. But if you're a Nazi, you're not a Nazi. Then you're a great American patriot. You see how it works?
Panel of this body, a panel in the executive branch, a panel of the Department of Justice?
No, we don't need panels to figure out what's racist or not. We'll tell you. Not a panel. Most people know. You do. You know. And if you don't know, then the targeted group will tell you. Who's a panel? We don't need to call a panel in to sequester a panel to figure out that China virus and Kung Flu is racist, okay? Maybe you guys do, I guess. Maybe the Republicans do, because they're such morons, but not that it would matter. A panel wouldn't move them. The majority of votes don't move them. They act like they have a mandate. Oh, they get their mandate. They get their mandate from every other autocrat. Just like every other America hate or democracy loathing autocrat gets their mandate.
What does that mean? Who's deciding?
It means put your
When we get
mask
into
on.
Making crimes out of thought, crimes out of speech.
We're not talking about thought here, you stupid old cracker. We're talking about actual crimes, you see. Shit that actually happened and continues to happen thanks to you. Thought crimes. No, we're not talking about thought crimes. This shit actually happens.
As opposed to crimes out of the actions of evildoers.
Oh my God.
Find those who perpetrated what happened in Atlanta. Find those who engaged.
Now we're back to Atlanta.
in hate
Okay, good.
Of all forms. And punish the absolute hell out of them.
Oh, I see how strong you are. That strong and powerful Republican. Oh, be still my heart. You're so absolutely strong. Talking about whatever shit you're talking about.
But don't go around policing thought.
Who the fuck is?
Now, I have one other thing. I hope today's hearings will examine this discrimination against Asian Americans in educational settings, a matter that the Trump administration prioritized, took seriously, and acted upon. In October, for example, the Department of Justice sued Yale for race and national origin discrimination after determining that Yale was non-compliant with Title VI of the '64 Civil Rights Act, which prohibits federal financial assistance to any program engaged in racially discriminatory practices. Following a 2-year investigation, the Department of Justice concluded that Asian American and white students have only 1/10 to 1/4 of the likelihood of admissions as African-American applicants with comparable academic credentials.
Oh, it's
Justice Department
I
alleged that
see.
Yale discriminated against Asian Americans by favoring certain applicants based upon their race, rather than looking for race-neutral alternatives to achieve the university's goals.
Because there you go. They're saying this. Not to mention, okay, the DOJ dropped its discrimination lawsuit against Yale brought by the Trump administration. This is another way for them to lambast African Americans. That's it. People with darker pigment. You see how he did that there? Oh, they're really looking out for Asians. Asians were being discriminated against. Well, this is in ABC News. The DOJ has dropped its discrimination case against Yale. The Justice Department filed notice on Wednesday that they were voluntarily dismissing the lawsuit filed in 2020 over the institution's application process. The complaint charged that Yale discriminated against Asian Americans and white, Asian Americans and white undergraduate applications. Now, they only threw in Asian Americans because they were targeting affirmative action. And also tickling the racist funny bones of the goddamn crackers who can't wear their masks. It also alleged that the university violated Title VI of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, which prohibits discrimination based on race. And in the Trump administration lawsuit, it was the whites. It was whitey being discriminated against, you see. Oh, God. Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. At the time, Yale said, blah, blah, blah. Our admissions process has allowed Yale College to assemble an unparalleled student body which is distinguished by its academic excellence and diversity. Yale has steadfastly maintained its process fully complies with the Supreme Court's precedent. Blah, blah, blah. They had, under the Trump administration, the DOJ had accused Harvard University of discriminating against, of course, Asian American students and white students. They only threw in the Asians to seem like it was inclusive. They were targeting, you see, they're targeting a more perfect union. That's what they're targeting. We're trying, this is not just a white country. But you wouldn't know it if you look at the Republican, look at the Republican Party. Look at all of the people Twitler and the Republicans appoint. If you look at the intern picture, including the white power sign that some of them flashed. It's all white. But this is a diverse country. It's sad that Republicans view diversity as a negative when it is a strength. Something that makes America great. It makes America an interesting, wonderful place where you get the best of everything, the best of all worlds. God, but he said that Yale was discriminating against white students with better academic histories, and that is not. He's talking out of his ass there. I honestly wish that they had gone to court about it, because all of the discovery would come out, and now that it's been dismissed, it's also another example, another opportunity for whiny white crackers like this guy to say that things are unfair. It's unfair against them. Yeah, so unfair. You see, it's just the way it is, I guess, that there's your master race right there. That's why white people are in positions of power. That why the Republican Party is, I don't know what the demographic is, but my own eyes tell me that it's primarily white. Overwhelmingly so. But,
comparable academic credentials.
Bullshit.
Justice Department alleged that Yale discriminated against Asian Americans by favoring certain applicants based upon their race,
and white,
rather than looking for race-neutral alternatives to achieve the university's goals. Then Assistant Attorney General for the Civil Rights Division explained, all persons who apply for admission to colleges and universities should expect and know that they will be judged by their character, talents, and achievements, and not the color of their skin. To do otherwise is to permit our institutions to foster stereotypes, bitterness, and division.
Excuse me.
I couldn't agree more. However,
what does this have to do with violence against Asian Americans, you son of a bitch?
Mr. Chairman, I'll close, but I'll just say I hope this is the direction we'll go. I hope we'll look at this.
I hope, yeah.
Lens
I hope we'll take the time of this precious time of this hearing and discuss all of the Republican bullshit arguments that have nothing to do with what we're supposed to be here to discuss. Okay, great. Because that's all Republicans do. They put on a show. It's a pantomime. They pantomime democracy. They pantomime government service. They go through the motions of representing the people. They don't have any interest in governing. They want to go to their cocktail parties with their big donors and rub elbows with the elites and say, don't worry, I'm going to lower your taxes. Don't worry, everyone. While all of the morons cheer them because they could say China virus. Hey, yay.
Objective truth, trying to seek justice, and not trying to police speech, and trying to achieve the objectives we want to achieve.
Holy shit. Who effing said police speech? It's not policing speech. It's called being a decent person. Knowing that you're living in a country. Who has the need? Who needs to do this? To say racist shit? Who has to friggin' do that? You got other words, There are a lot of words you can use. What is your damage? Well, of course, oh my God. Let me see, hold on. Of course, there was a response during the hearing, and I was glad. Here's Representative Grace Meng. She tells, she kind of had a response to this guy.
Thank you, Chairman Nadler, Chairman Cohen, Ranking Member Thompson, and distinguished members of this committee for organizing today's hearing. The topic is discrimination and violence against Asian Americans. Some of us seem to be going a little off topic. I'm not sure why. For over a year, Asian Americans have been fighting an additional virus of hate and bigotry. Anti-Asian rhetoric like China virus, Kung flu, misinformation, racism have left Asian Americans traumatized and fearful for their lives. Mr. Roy mentioned the WHO, and it's the same World Health Organization that actually said not to use countries of origin when we're referring to diseases.
Oh, don't worry about it. They'll keep doing
Since last year, there have been over 3,800 reported incidents of anti-Asian hate. But we know that the majority of incidents go reported. And in fact, nearly 70...
can't be bothered listening, you see? Oh, maybe he's looking at her on the screen. I don't know. I doubt it. Wait, I hit the wrong button.
Have happened to Asian American women. In fact, just this week, we saw the terrible news about the 6 Asian women who were shot and killed in the Atlanta area. Our community is bleeding. We are in pain, and for the last year, we've been screaming out for help. Asian American discrimination, however, is not new in this country. From the 1882 Chinese Exclusion Act to the World War II incarceration of Japanese Americans, and from the 1975 police brutality in Manhattan's Chinatown to the 1982 murder of Vincent Chin, discrimination against Asian Americans is a shameful part of our history. Unfortunately, so much of this history is not taught in our schools. Excluding Asian Americans from our history books renders us invisible and deems us the perpetual foreigner. In fact, history has excluded the history of Asian Americans, Black Americans, Latino, and Native Americans. And that has led to the systemic inequities at many institutions, including our academic institutions. In the 116th Congress, I introduced my resolution to condemn anti-Asian sentiment related to COVID. And I was grateful my resolution passed the House with bipartisan support, except for 164 of our Republican colleagues who voted against it, even though some had the audacity to tweet condolences after Atlanta's tragedy. I'm glad to hear about my colleague, Representative Steele's resolution, and I hope that she has better luck getting her party to support the resolution. During this last year, it became painfully apparent that we need a comprehensive effort from our local communities to the federal level. That's why I support bills like the No Hate Act, and that's why Senator Hirono and I introduced the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act, which would assign a point person at the Department of Justice to quickly review hate crimes and to make it easier for people to report these incidents. My bill also builds on President Biden's presidential memorandum by directing relevant federal agencies to work with community-based organizations to find ways to talk about the virus in a way that is not racist. I urge my colleagues on this committee for swift consideration of these bills. We cannot turn a blind eye to people living in fear. I want to go back to something that Mr. Roy said earlier. Your president and your party and your colleagues can talk about issues with any other country that you want, but you don't have to do it by putting a bullseye on the back of Asian Americans across this country, on our grandparents, on our kids. This hearing was to address the hurt and pain of our community and to find solutions, and we will not let you take our voice away from us.
Good for you. Absolutely. Oh, she's getting upset. I'm sure Chip Roy wants to drink her tears, right? Because that's what Republicans do. Oh, thank you for your tears. I love drinking the tears of my fellow Americans. That's a Republican. They don't give a crap who dies, who's hurt, who's in pain. That's not patriotism, by the way. If our fellow Americans are hurting, if our fellow, it doesn't even matter if they're American or not, fellow human beings that we're sharing this country with, this in this period of time, and they are hurting by something that we could so easily change. He doesn't have to say the racist rhetoric. There's no reason for it, except if you don't give a shit about your fellow human beings who are in pain, who are suffering, who have a target on their backs, as she said. It's not about the Chinese Communist Party and freedom of speech and some fucking white privileged prick who the conservatives shopped around for so they could sue Ivy League schools. prove their point, their bullshit point, to give their attacks on this country the veneer of legal legitimacy. That's what they were doing with that lawsuit against Yale. Well, because, white people are the real victims here. If you can't say China virus, but God forbid, right, anybody say anything about them, pick on them, they're the biggest whiny little bitches going. Jesus. It's sickening. And worse than that, it's not just making me sick, it makes the whole country sick. There's nothing patriotic about it. If you're a patriot, you care about your fellow Americans, the other people you share this civilization with, whether they're American or not. Maybe they're wannabe Americans. Maybe they're here. But they're your neighbors. They're people, as we all are. So shut the fuck up. Stop. There's no reason for it except you're a racist and you want them to be hurt. You want to hurt them. You don't care. You know better. And the China virus, the Kung flu, all that shit, as the representative said, the WHO pointed out, yes, we used to name illnesses around locations, like the Spanish flu, which didn't originate in Spain. But we don't do that anymore. We used to name hurricanes after women, remember? Only. We don't do that anymore. Because we evolved. We're trying. Because we have to live together. And if we're patriots and we want a more perfect union, and we diagnose the sickness running through our body politic, and it is racism, and we have the power to do something about that. Simply do so. You don't have, what are you, such a moron that you can't find other words? You can't, if you're in your role as a representative and you're saying that Chinese Communist Party bad, except when they're giving you patents and things like that, right? Unless they're giving you slave labor to make your shitty shoes, your shitty knockoff shoes. Right? Then they're good, I guess. When you're calling Chairman Mao president, the hypocrisy is goddamn, it's beyond astonishing. It's disgusting. Oh my God. But you just don't have to do it. They do it on purpose. Is there ever a situation that Republicans make better? Can anybody remind me of anything? Are there? I really would love to be proven wrong. I haven't seen a single thing. What do they bring to the table? What do they ever make better? Here, this is from the Huffington Post. Josephine Harvey writes, yes, viruses used to be named after places, and here's why they aren't anymore. This was written when Twitler was the so-called president, despite receiving fewer votes. She writes, despite repeated advice from the medical community that naming diseases after places of origin have no benefit and actually causes harm, Twitler and Republicans continue to use the phrase China virus to describe the new coronavirus. This is how long ago this article was. In 2015, the WHO issued new guidelines for naming infectious diseases in humans. The guidelines are meant to minimize unnecessary negative effects on nations, economies, and peoples. The best practice for naming diseases, the WHO states, should consist of generic terms that describe the disease's symptoms, or if the pathogen that causes the disease is unknown, it should be part of the disease's name. Nevertheless, Twitter, spurred on by Fox News, including host Tucker Carlson and Laura Ingraham, have been attacking China's role in the outbreak for weeks, adopting harmful terminology. On Wednesday, following a huge backlash, the White House tweeted a defense. And here's from back then when we were young and old at the same time, when our aging process was rapid. It was like we aged 10,000 years. Well, we aged like a year a month back then. And so they wrote Spanish flu. This is White House archived during, this is Twitler's Twitter feed from the White House. Spanish flu, West Nile virus, Zika, Ebola, all named for places before the media's fake outrage. Even CNN called it the Chinese coronavirus. Those trying to divide us must stop rooting for America to fail and give Americans real info they need to get through the crisis. So we need to know it comes from China? For what? So we don't wear our mask anyway? What the fuck difference does it make? Excuse me. The fake out, everything. Could you... Oh my God. This is what we had to endure. Look at how much we had to endure. It's unbelievable. Science and common sense. Oh no, that's something else anyway. But historians, the medical community, and advocacy organizations have since found that these names have adverse effects and in some cases are also inaccurate. The Spanish flu, for instance, did not originate in Spain. Major countries involved in World War I sought to avoid panic and suppressed reports of the outbreak. However, Spain, which remained neutral and was not subject to wartime censorship, reported the pandemic early, creating the false impression that the nation bore the brunt of the outbreak. Medical community experts have long abandoned other naming conventions for similar reasons. WHO says disease names should avoid geographic locations, people's names, species of animal or food, or other references that could incite fear or place blame. Wow. Inciting fear and placing blame? That's the Republicon mantra. That's the only reason a Republican gets in front of a microphone on any subject, to incite fear and place blame. Exactly. My glasses are crooked. I guess my face is crooked. It is. God help us. Oh my God. Let me see here. Excuse me. Thank you, JD, for your super chat. Super chat themed music grandma song from Billy Elliot. Oh, really? That's actually a song? I don't know it. The grandma's song? Let me see. Bing, bum, bum, bum. Wait, there's an ad playing.
For just $67,
Another
you
ad.
can make as
2
many
ads?
videos as you want, and you never need to pick up a camera or use any fancy editing.
Skip ad. I don't know this song.
Lovely lady and a gentle old soul.
Is that Grandma's song?
An old folk song. It's got a melody of 100 years ago.
Grandma's
She
song.
sang a come-a-loo,
Gone on. I wish Grandma stayed in Ireland. Come on, Grandma, take me into the light.
Those
Grandma's
memories
song.
have
Thank you for your super chat, Grandma.
got a melody of 100
Years ago, Grandma came to this land. Take me home, Grandma. Take me home. Take me into the light.
Those memories have given you.
All right, enough. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What's going on here? Because I'm gonna get hit with a copyright infringement if I keep on playing the grandma's song. And thank you, Covert White Rabbit, for your super chat. Oh, look at this. Please help distribute Esther Lamb's book, How to Report a Hate Crime. It's available in 7 languages and geared towards coastal states. Stop hate. What is that? How to report a hate crime. Let me see this. Who is this? Who is that person? Let me see. There is no, I don't see it. You got a link? Let's see. I don't see it. I'll just keep singing this grandma song, 'cause I don't see that book. I don't see a book called How to Report a Hate Crime. It may be available in 7 languages, but it ain't available in mine. I don't know, Grandma, you're trying to take me into the light. I wanna go after I see the Republicans go down. Let me do my job, Grandma. Here comes my Tara Jr. again. Get up on this platform so I can kiss your face. Get up here, kid. Oh, well. I should have been a singer in a country music band. But I don't know. I don't see no book about hate. I only got a cat right here, and his bell is ringing off the hook. He likes to look down when I pick him up, but I wanted you to see his face. He doesn't know he's on a camera that's going across the world. He's just a little kitty, and he wants to be pet. All right. We gotta keep it real. What is wrong with me? I haven't figured it out yet. Lots of philosophers have tried, but they can't crack it too. They know that I don't give a fuck about the fucking Republicans. But I do care about the Tara Jr. All right. Oh my God, I'm cracking up, and it's happening live on YouTube. The song is coming right out of my goddamn sad soul. All right, let's see. The last thing I wanted to talk about, and I better stop singing in this voice. My fucking voice is getting on my own nerves right now. What kind of person laughs at her own jokes? That's me. She likes to have a lot of cats around her, and that's something wrong. This is the best goddamn show that ever happened. I didn't know it was in me till I started singing the song. All right. That's a grandma song for you. Who the fuck knows what the fuck I'm talking about? I just like cursing up a storm. All right. Stop, everybody. One last thing. It's almost time to hang it up because it's getting late right now. And I gotta get unconscious, otherwise I'm a raging bitch in the morning. You could only imagine, given that I'm screaming half the night through, and it's nothing good going on. I'm just screaming at the GOP. All right. I'm not even screaming like telling my neighbors what's going on in the private room. I'm screaming at the Republicans for being stupid all day long. Why am I talking? I'm losing all my patrons right now, and I am. It's I can't even goddamn help it. They're gonna say this bitch is nuts, and she's singing like a goddamn nut. All right. I can't find my screen anymore. All right, here we go. All right, calm down. All right. Back. I'm back. I'm back wherever that was. Wherever I went, I'm back. I don't know. You got a package. Package for you. You got a package downstairs. This is crystal light. All right. I'm thinking to myself, should I stop the show now? I had one more thing I wanted to talk about, but it's late. It's getting late. All right. I don't know. I think it might be over. I think the show's over. Because if I start this, it's never gonna stop, and then I'm gonna be tired tomorrow. We'll see. Maybe I'll do a show tomorrow. I don't know. If somebody becomes a patron, like our patrons and super chatters, I might do another show. But I think this show is over. I'm feeling like it's over. 'Cause I'm trying to get to sleep at night at a reasonable time. So I'm not a raging bitch in the morning. Maybe we'll do a goddamn show tomorrow night. What do you think? Maybe somebody will become a patron. Do not worry, guys. I won't remember this song tomorrow. If somebody becomes a producer, you're right, Eve. All right. I think we're going to have to go get unconscious. Yeah. I think we had a lot of show. Guys. I want to thank all the super chatters tonight. Richard W., Slow Tree, Jim A, and Haku, and Errol, and JD. Oh my God, twice JD. And Covert White Rabbit. Thank you. And thank you for all the patrons. And thank you for hanging out in the chat. Richard W., Errol, Eli, Terry, Peter, Paradu. Who else is here? Richard W. again. Where's everybody? Maybe there's more people on my list, but not in the chat room. People are shy, I guess. Jabber Monkey. We're a slow tree. Terry Taylor. Errol. Where am I? Who am I? JD. Eve. Nice to see you. Yes, yes. Haiku, of course. Thank you, Haiku. Maybe. All right. Maybe tomorrow will be a nice show. I don't know. River. Hello. All right, guys. And Errol Thomas, of course. And EJ, nice to see you. Anthony, nice to see you on Facebook. All right, guys. Listen. We know we're going to win because we are on the right side of history. Yes. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, and democracy. And we will win. We, you know the rest of the sentence. We stick together. We win. Thank you so much for hanging out. Somebody become a patron. And maybe we'll have a show tomorrow, but we'll see you either way. I will see you very soon. I'll see you anytime. I'll see you maybe tomorrow or Saturday. Yeah, become a patron. Mark, my grandma told you to.